everybody. Welcome to What's That All About? That feels like silly now. I don't think I want to do it anymore. I mean, I'll say What's That All About because it is kind of the channel. But anyway, I got it's sort of a weird one and it has a lot of moving parts to it. And I have a lot of moving pieces of paper in front of me. Have you ever heard of ACIO? Apparently, it is the Alien or Advanced, depending on which way you say it, Contact Intelligence Organization. Had never, ever heard of it. I can honestly say I don't remember even stumbling onto this. It just almost like appeared. I have no idea what. You wouldn't believe me if I told you, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. So about 3:15 in the morning the other day, I woke up, which I do a lot of. I do a lot of, I don't know if you remember in the Power of 3 episode that I did, I wake up almost every single night between what they call the witching hour, which is between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. And even if it's a brief moment, I am always drawn to look at the clock, see what time it is, and recognize that it is during that time that I always seem to wake up. And it is said that you can be either you're either being communicated with, possibly, with maybe a family member who's passed away, or something else that is trying to expand your consciousness. I mean, either way would be awesome because I love that thought of like leveling up. If you watched any of my stuff, you know I say leveling up quite a bit. But this organization, those 4 letters, ACIO, came to me. I scribbled them down on a piece of paper. I always have paper with me. I always have a notebook next to me. I think that's just from being a writer. Anyway, so I jotted down ACIO, woke up the next morning, had my coffee, and sitting there watching some news, and I'm like, all of a sudden, this moment came to me like, So, because sometimes I don't really remember, but I know I must have woken up, whatever. I look at the notebook that I always have, and instead of it being on a piece of paper, it was written on in the blackest part of the notebook in pencil, of all things. So I kind of tilted it in the light, and these are the 4 letters I found. I Googled it, and this is what I found. So I'm regurgitating it all back to you. Going to be looking at this shit a lot, these stupid friggin' notes and stuff, because it's all very new to me. And when something's very new to me, I want to share, especially if I find it interesting. So just sit back and just give me a couple minutes of your time, and I promise it'll be worth it. If you're into this stuff, it'll definitely be worth it because there's a lot of weird shit here. So if you haven't heard of them, this group is an international intelligence organization based out of the Pine Gap military base in Australia. I have talked about the Pine Gap military base during another episode when I did my mysterious base things across the globe. Now, they specialize in managing extraterrestrial relations, advanced technologies, and overseeing of humanity's social, political, and technological progress. Now, historically, they remain unseen, like you wouldn't even know they were there. Kind of like, what do you call them, operatives? Like you don't really know, you could be walking around and people could be a FBI operative or a CIA or special forces, whatever. But now, with all this new, I was about to say kind of, with all this new communication seeming to be coming at Earth, a lot of what they're doing is coming to the surface. So you may very well start hearing about these guys more than you think. So they have something called the Council of 5. Stay with me. It consists of the following alien races. Okay, the first one is the emerthers. Okay, they have a specific position within the council to lead the entire council in resolving conflicts and in emergency situations, turning to the intergalactic council if military intervention becomes necessary. Okay, there's also the Orellas, the Aragos, the Jinvo, and the Reddins. Now I have their pictures up and I labeled which ones are which. So never heard of any of those. Like never. And I've been studying this stuff for a while. Okay. They're highly evolved. This is a group of highly evolved extraterrestrials assigned by the Intergalactic Council that has been around for hundreds and hundreds of millions of years, by the way, in other planetary systems. Okay? This is not the first Intergalactic Council, apparently. And they are here to help us manage and enforce intergalactic laws. Now, at the exact time of their inception is unknown, but they have been around since before us humans, were here. So the Council of Five has a high degree of respect among other councils due to the fact that they are the oldest existing association of extraterrestrial races that have retained their sphere of influence to this day. Okay? Now, have you ever heard of Peter the Insider? If you haven't heard of the group, you most likely have not heard of Peter the Insider. Peter the Insider is where ACIO gets a lot of their information. He is a sort of a self-proclaimed member of something called the Labyrinth Group. And I'm going to give you a little background on him. Now, he was born in 1970 in Slovakia, and his first alien contact was at 5 years old. He immigrated to Western Germany in 1988 and was recruited to the Special Army Unit in the secret NATO military forces. Now, in 1990, Peter became a member of ACIO. Okay, after 5 years with the organization, he became an officer in the 12th Division. Now, the 12th Division refers to something that is part of the Labyrinth Group, and I will explain that after I give you a little bit more on this. Now, their purpose is what his job was monitoring the presence of aliens and their purpose for being on Earth. Now, after 20 years, Peter became the director of this division, and by his 28th year, he had been launched into secret space missions. Now, I have done other shows on 20 and back. I hopefully you remember that. And that's part of this whole conglomerate here, is part of, they are associated with special space programs. I don't know about their relationship to Space Force. They didn't mention them. Okay? His experience included migration between different timelines, realities, spaces, universes, dimensions, and megaverses in order to keep our reality world together. In addition to his work with ACIO, Peter was given permission to disclose information to the public that was previously not accessible or permitted. As recently as April 25th, 2023, a couple days ago, okay? Peter, the Insider, warns of a possible biochemical weapon that can turn people and animals into essentially zombies, but they don't look like zombies. He compared it to something that you might see in a movie called Resident Evil. Now, at this point, what I'm going to do is tell you about something called soft disclosure, okay? Soft disclosure is the phenomenon where popular media, such as movies, shows, video games, allude to an actual agenda, okay? An actual event or phenomenon that is basically taking place in our reality. And it has either been kept from the public or denied by authorities on official levels, okay? Some of these shows or movies contain authentic intel of what's actually occurring within the special programs that are out there, okay? But their intention is to present the information in a non-threatening fashion, and in particular, making it appear to be all fiction, okay? They put it under the guise of this so it can slowly prepare and condition the public for accepting this type of information. Now, typically the creators behind these vehicles of media, meaning directors, producers, creative people, have been approached and do have connections with various intelligence agencies and corporations, to where they were instructed to include soft disclosure, or the creators received subconscious telepathic downloads where they are spontaneously inspired to incorporate such themes connected to the special access programs. Now, give you some examples, okay? The Matrix, a show called The Umbrella Academy, Resident Evil, Godzilla vs. King Kong, which emphasizes heavily on the Middle Earth concept, which I also touched on in my Antarctica episode, when Admiral Byrd spoke in his journal about going to Middle Earth, and in the 1940s. So that is what soft disclosure is about, okay? And Peter the Insider, I said now, was a part of this Labyrinth Group, which is essentially one of the oldest organizations. It's said to be over 32 million years old. They take a large part of managing diplomatic resolutions, initiating peace, and various other space intergalactic conflicts. And they always step in. They are basically a collection of some of the most brilliant minds. They are biogenetic technology wizards kind of thing. And they have a clearance level that goes 12, like Peter, 13, 14, with 15 being the leader. He is the one sole leader of this group. Now, what I learned is that the leader of this group in our timeline and frame he's passed away now, but was Dr. A.R. Borden, okay? And he also worked in the engineering division of Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, and he did the reverse engineering division. So he also claimed to have direct, pure alien technology provided by the Anunnaki. I have not done a show on Anunnaki. I probably will now, because now I'm completely fascinated by all this shit. Now, it's important to talk about the good, that they have all these good things in they have the Council of Five. Thank God, because we also have to deal with, unbeknownst to us, something called the Shadow Group. Always a goddamn Shadow Group. Now, they consist of elite special ops soldiers recruited from different branches and nations to form a private sector committed to enforcing its own interests and agendas. Now, they are basically bought help, and they are invisible, meaning they have no social security, like they're dead. They're ghosts. They don't even exist. Nothing about them is authentic. Nothing's real, okay? I mean, they're real people, but they're not real in the sense of they ain't paying any taxes. Let's put it that way, okay? Now, it is said that they are the most dangerous and negatively oriented group that is currently known to the ACIO. This group uses manipulation and propaganda in order to carry out their goals and does not answer to any recognizable authority. But it is said, I read in my research, that they have a connection directly to NSA. I knew NSA was naughty. But anyway, and at times, the Shadow Group has accessed different points in time to create chaos, okay? One current example was in July of 2022. The ACIO discovered the group, the Shadow Group, accessed our time portal within the region of Western Florida. Why does that not surprise me that there's a time portal in Western Florida? Anyway, and they entered it unknown point in time in the future and resulted in a catastrophic event. But they believe, and they were told, that the Council of Five caught whatever they were doing in time, thankfully, and was danger averted kind of thing. So our future now isn't in this disastrous path, okay? Bottom line is this group, multiple nations and very powerful people, their end game is world domination. That should terrify everybody, period, and hard stop. That should terrify everybody. Now, I'm done with giving you the spiel, and I know I just kind of like totally dumped a bunch on you, but I really, really wanted you to know all about it. And if you have any comments or questions, I'd love to hear from you. If not, that's fine. I am going to put the link in my description for where you can find all this information, because there's so much more. I sort of went, of course, you know I hit something. Of course I did, because I'm a klutz. But anyway, there's so much more to know about this. I'm not done with it, but I am done with it today because my brain's even overloaded. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I know it's a long one, but it's interesting. This is some scary shit. And if you're into this stuff, this should scare you if you've never heard of it. So until next time, I hope you are staying happy and healthy, and stay weird and take care. All right. Bye.